I really need to stop making this mistake. I recorded about a half an hour of me talking before realizing I forgot to unmute OBS because had it muted for some reason. But all that out of the way, thank you everyone for a thousand subscribers. This was fucking like when I woke up this morning, that's what I was like, holy shit! Like it's hard to put into words exactly how I feel, but it's crazy like that people are enjoying it this much. To start off with, basically the first part of this video is going to be in response to the Q&A that I put through on the community tab. I only got 2 comments, but I'm going to answer them both as thoroughly as I possibly can, and that's why we're in this world. So let's quickly pull those up. Give me 2 seconds. So the first is from Mars B4R. Where do you get the inspiration with your lore builds? Are they inspired by real-life architecture, or are they solely based off your imagination? Are they all interconnected in some way, and why? With the comment, and the second one is, do all the lore builds exist in the same continuity/story? If so, what's the name of the world/land that they're in? The second commenter, he replied to the first one being like, this is just a guess, but the world is the same vibes as the Dark Souls trilogy. I've talked enough about my love of the Souls stuff that it was very obvious to be a heavy inspiration. But basically, the story of this world. So, in terms of the actual inspiration, it's off the dome. Like, I don't have any preconceived ideas. The only thing I've used as a reference for is the fort build over where? That's the fort. The fort over here. That I used a little bit of a reference for the actual fortress keep. I'll teleport over there real quick. I used a bit of reference for the actual keep itself, and I used a bit of a reference for the crane, because these were something that were a bit outside of my comfort zone. The rest of it's just freeballed. My favorite is still... Oh, I love them all equally, but I really like the look of this place. Like, I think it's really cool. It's my first and it's my favorite. So, basically, the story behind how this series came into fruition was I got really fucking bored. And you'll notice this is the world from the Dumb Shits guide that I made a while ago. I just loaded in. I'm like, I'm just going to build. And I kept building, and I finished it. I'm like, this is really cool. I've got this platform now. I want to share it. And in terms of the narrative, it's all tied to a narrative that I've had kicking around inside my head for a couple years now. This idea of like a chasm that's almost like a tear in the world, where it's like no one goes across this chasm, this ravine, I guess. It goes like kilometers and kilometers and kilometers and kilometers down, like hundreds, and it's like so wide that like you would die of starvation before you reached even like from the city to the end, I guess. And like having this big ass fucking like interconnected city in the center, and have like a whole video game based around that, where it's like the interconnected areas, like the fact that it's so compact, but also such rich diversity, I guess, because obviously it's the primary settlement. Like, it's the only humanity exists for unknowable amounts of kilometers, and having all the different factions and their own cultures and their own like the whole area being like such a unique like flavor of different like structures and like environments and shit like that, and have it like be this interconnected story, and like the fall of the world, like this decay of the world coming from like a fog within the chasm where like some eldritch horror lurks. And I've had that sort of like idea, that sort of like vision floating around in my head for like the last couple of years. I've been thinking about it a lot over the last couple of years, and I built this, and I'm like, maybe I should put this in the world, like in this fictional narrative that I've created for myself. So I'm like, okay, and then I engaged with the creative writing, which I love creative writing. I've been reading books since I was a kid, like stuff like the Ender's Saga, like Speak for the Dead, Xenocide, Children of the Mind, and the like Shadow of the Hegemon series, like Empyrean by Stephen Lawhead, Lord of the Rings, Christopher Paoli's Inheritance Cycle. I think it's there's another book called Red, Black, White, Green. I don't know who it's by, or if that's the correct name, but I remember really enjoying that. I've been reading books a long time. I've read like popular stuff like Hunger Games and like more niche. Well, I say niche, but like I don't see people talking about Empyrean like ever. I've never seen anyone else mention its existence. But yeah. So I love creative writing. So I'm like, I'm going to create this like narrative inside this world. Now, in terms of a name of the actual world, there isn't one. The only place that has a name is this place, which I think you might have seen it earlier in this video, but it's also in the briefly in like one of the shots in the actual video based on this one. The rest of them don't have names. In terms of the same world, yeah, they're absolutely like in this video, I mentioned that this guy in here was like a traveler, like arriving wounded from the north in the night. That is the north. Like that's the north right there. It wouldn't be the port because that's too far away. So they all exist in the same continuity. I remember like I saw another comment being like, "Hey, are we going to see like a new empire rise?" And I don't feel like that fits with like the sort of theme that I'm going for with this particular setting, because the theme is this is a snapshot, I guess. What is important isn't what comes after, it's what's come before. Nothing like exciting or huge is going to happen because the world is slowly like stagnating and decaying. There's hostility and fear and death and disease. And it's just these self-contained pockets of like narrative where it's like these self-contained stories that have their own deeply intricate backgrounds, I guess. Like the people of this treetop, for example, they have a history just as rich as the people from the fort, even though the fort is empty now, who have the same amount of history as people from the quarry and the hill and the port over yonder there. So it's the idea of these small little groupings of people who don't really have any more like they're not going anywhere. They're not creating new things. They're not fleshing out the world. Well, not fleshing out, that's the wrong word. They're not like expanding a grander narrative. It's sort of like it's just petering out, like a car engine, I guess, when you run out of fuel. So that's the idea. So yeah, all interconnected, not inspired by real life architecture, all imagination, all in the same story, but don't know the name of the land because I'm bad at coming up with fantasy names. Like I'm really bad at it. And I appreciate that people are enjoying this because it was a very fresh change of pace. I've been enjoying a lot more this more scripted content recently, as opposed to the more like the more what's the word, like scripted, the more like let's play style and like guide style. Because even the guides, I plan on updating one of my guides soon. The guides, they were just all freeball. Like I just did them all in one take, no script, no planning. And I feel like I prefer this more like scripted, edited style, and it engages with me more creatively. Because when I'm like able to write my own script and I'm able to edit the videos more thoroughly, then it encourages more creativity in the way I approach the creation of the videos. So what's the plan for the future of the channel? Oh, actually, before we get into that, there's one other comment from a previous, from the 500 subscribers one that I didn't get to end up answering because I made the video before the comment came through. So let me quickly pull that one up. So the comment is coming from Ali Mustafa 58563, who he's been in every comment I've like in every video I've posted. He's the first comment for like the last like month or two. I love this guy so much. Like, if you're watching this, mate, I appreciate what you do, because it is the best feeling to have someone just like it's always like my favorite part of the day when I see like this guy like crop up in the videos. It's always so like fun to see. But his question was, why did you name yourself Onion Man? So 2017, I made my first Steam account. I was 15. I did not have a name for it, and I did not name it until the next year, 2018, when I was like, I need something. And there's this picture of one of the old Australian prime ministers, Tony Abbott, who was trying to be all manly and shit and ate an onion whole. And it is a really funny video to watch. So I took like a snapshot of that, set as my like Steam profile picture, called myself Onion Man, and then that was only for Steam for a long time. And then in the last maybe 2 years ago, I think. I was like, it actually would have been 2021. Yeah, 2021. I made like a new like Sigurd cosplay for Dark Souls 3 and called him Onion Man. And I ended up 100%ing the game on that character. He's my highest level character. And I was like, the name just stuck, I guess. So I kind of just use it for everything. So that's the lore behind that name. Next up, we'll get into like that out of the way, the Q&A stuff. We'll get into like what the plan is with the future of these videos. Yeah. So here's the plan, basically. All right. So for the time being, this channel is going to remain as it is a hobby. I'm not gonna like, oh, I'm going full time on YouTube with 1,000 subscribers. That's not a realistic thing to do. I obviously need to make it clear that I'm not going to be able to be consistent, just because, like, I go back to work on Wednesday after 6 weeks off due to my like arm being fractured, and working full time plus having a partner and friends and a life makes it hard to like keep a consistent upload schedule. Plus, I very much am a creature of inspiration. That's why, for example, the last few days I haven't really been posting as much, because I need the inspiration to come to me, I guess. I need to have like a bout of like, oh my god, I know what I want to make. Which I have a few videos that have come to my head literally just in the last day that I do and definitely intend to look into making, because they were like fairly cool ideas that I've come up with. So I'm gonna be doing those probably today or tomorrow. But definitely want to keep up with the more scripted stuff. The Let's Plays might become less frequent, or maybe even stop at all. When I get the inspiration to play a Let's Play, I will. But for the time being, I'm gonna try and focus on more scripted stuff, more video essays. I definitely want to flesh out the Elden Ring series a bit more. The discussion that I'm doing on it, like the thorough like analysis. Obviously, I'm still not amazing at script writing. Like you can probably tell in the videos. I sometimes flub lines, and the scripts I write don't always encapsulate what I'm trying to say, which leads to a lot of misinterpretation, which means I need to do a bit more effort in fleshing out what I'm saying. So that's the plan with the actual content. Most of it's just inspiration focused. I wanted to know, in terms of, so there's two things I wanted to know, like engage with the audience with this one. So the first is using mods for these builds, not like, oh, I put in a fucking like factory or whatever, but it's like using mods to like enhance the builds, like using framed blocks or the McCaw's mods or stuff like that. If that's something you guys would be happy to see, or if you want to keep it mostly vanilla. Second is, in the last video, the 500 subscriber special, one of the things that got brought up was social media. And so I can't make a Twitter or anything, because my Twitter account got suspended because it was hacked, and Twitter is yet to fix it. So for the time being, Twitter is off the table for me. I could do like an Instagram post, like updates on videos and stuff like that. Mostly just shit posting memes. That's an option. I could do something like that. Or I can make it like a Discord. But it's difficult to keep a Discord safely moderated, I guess. Like, I don't have the time to moderate. I'm an assistant manager for a fast food chain. I work 40 plus hours a week. Once I'm back at work, at least. I don't have time to moderate a Discord server. So I could make it. It'd be helpful for like people to ask questions related to Minecraft or FromSoft or whatever the fuck. Sort of like a community, like little engagement point, I guess. I could do something like that. If there's anything you particularly want to see, let me know. In terms of streaming, I do want to do a little bit more streaming, but it's going to be few and far between, just because I have housemates and they don't want to hear me talking that loudly for 4.5, 5 hours straight. And yeah, so streaming probably going to be off the table for a little bit. What else did I want to talk about? Talked about this world, talked about the video essay stuff. I think that should be pretty much everything. I just did want to say, like, I have so much appreciation for everyone who's been contributing recently. In fact, I'm going to pull up some some comments and see if I can pull up some names that I recognize. Because there's been a few that I've been seeing like crop up a few times recently. Oh, check my phone. We're already at 1,003. 1,004, even better. They're actually responses with new replies. There's Atlas2095, who's been posting like a lot recently in my comments. It's always happy to see them. Where's the? There's a guy, I forget his name. I can't find him. There's a guy with like a Halo Infinite profile picture that I see fairly regularly. Obviously, Ali Mustafa, I love seeing him. There was yeah, I can't find anyone else that I particularly recognize off the top of my head, but there's been a few what? Weird. So yeah, what was I saying? Getting sidetracked trying to find like the comments. I appreciate like everyone who leaves comments. Everyone. Especially after the recent From Software video with so many comments, I haven't been able to reply to all of them just because there's so many and I don't have the time or energy to reply to every single one and keep on top of every single one, but I do appreciate all of them. Yeah. Thank you all. I really appreciate it. If you have any further questions for me, leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them in the best way that I can. And if you have any like thing you particularly want to see me have a look into, if it's something that interests me and that I feel like I engages my creative juices, I guess I'll have a look into it. But that being said, thank you all very much for 1,000. It's a crazy thing, and here's to 1,000 more. All right, have a good one, everyone.